a small group of wealthy people have been picking the pockets of every working person in this country. And white folk, for the first time, they messed around and found out.
Experience Karen Hunter in a completely different way. Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.
Because part of what we are now seeing, this many weeks into this administration, is that when it has appeared that they're just messing with various agencies or trying to access various data systems within agencies, it's not a pointless rummaging that they are doing there. It's not just rummaging around in there and flipping switches and seeing what breaks. Part of what is now emerging is that they've been in these government systems because they're trying to use the government to hurt people as much as they can. So, for example, it turns out they were messing with all the information on international students in a government database so they could target individual international students to snatch them off the street and arrest them and throw them in immigration prisons. It turns out they were messing with sensitive systems inside the IRS and the Treasury, at least in part, so they could use that data to go after immigrants as well. Turns out they were messing with sensitive systems inside the Social Security Administration because they have taught themselves that one way you can really destroy people's lives in this country is if you take the names of living people and declare them dead inside the Social Security Administration. And now on top of that, today, something new. As we have been watching the actions of this government, and particularly the opaque, hard to parse actions of this Doge entity that has been set up under the auspices of the president's top campaign donor, and none of us are allowed to know what they're doing, as we've been trying to figure out what they're actually doing and why, we've now got a brand new set of allegations that we've never encountered before. And if these allegations are true, they suggest an apparently sort of a new sort of bucket, a new type of behavior from these guys that we are only learning about today, thanks to a whistleblower in IT who has the technical skills to actually see what they're doing and who has now come forward to Congress and to the Office of Special Counsel, which protects whistleblowers. He has come forward to explain something else that he believes these guys are doing that we didn't know before. And if he is right, it would seem to explain yet more about what previously seemed inexplicable. What he's describing is also something that seems very, very bad and very dangerous for our country.
I'll get in.
All right, so here's the story. NPR was first to break this story today. Reporter Jenna McLaughlin.
Okay. Is that the part 2 that's coming? All right. Before I play part 2, again, NPR, good reporting, journalism, laws helped. So it's not a coincidence that I'm seeing reports of defunding what the White House has accused NPR and PBS of producing quote unquote woke propaganda. No, they are reporting, and the reports are not favorable to you. So it's being labeled as woke, because that the people with adult brains who voted for you, they only understand woke as being bad. They don't even understand what woke means. And literally, it's in the title. It's being awake, being alert, and being aware. The New York Times reported that the White House intends to ask Congress to cut more than $1 billion already set aside for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and the publicly funded nonprofit that helps underwrite public media, which should be free speech, the First Amendment, all of that. It will make the request when Congress returns from recess April 28th, opening a 45-day window in which lawmakers can either approve or approve the rescission of the 2 years of federal cash that has been set aside for NPR and PBS. So here we are, right? Dr. Moss, most days I get here and I'm like, all right, these things have happened. I've been accused of fear mongering, like, because I'm telling people this is happening. But I want folk to be woke. Keep your head on a swivel. Maybe we shouldn't travel singularly if you're out there and your immigration status may not be, people aren't showing up to work. If you got a tattoo now, this 8-point system. And even that may not matter because they will snatch you up and then claim that you are all kinds of things. We know that this man has been 9-0. I haven't seen 9-0 since Clarence Thomas and Sam Alito locked hands and kissed. I don't know. Like, I haven't seen 9-0. This is egregious, and no one's able to do anything about it. So I'm asking you, like, what's the recourse before I play the next clip?
One is what you're doing. The information piece becomes critical. Like I said, let me back up a little bit. One of the reasons we've gotten into this moment is what I call, and a lot of other scholars call this, is called the Techno-Feudal Lords. Those are the tech bros who showed up at the inauguration. They were driving people to propaganda because propaganda is profitable, especially in a white supremacist framework where I can blame you for my fragility and brokenness, because that way I don't have to look at myself. This is the same propaganda that was done post-Reconstruction. Post-Reconstruction, we had propaganda, and one of the biggest propaganda pieces, along with minstrel shows, but then also the criminalization of Black people, Black men specifically. It's really interesting that Black people can raise your children, clean your house, take care of the plantation, but as soon as they're free, oh, they're criminals. That's propaganda. The Birth of a Nation, the movie The Birth of a Nation, was the first viral agent in terms of, with new technology, to be able to create the kind of fear that would allow Confederates to retake the South. And then it's screened at the White House, saying it's a great movie. Ain't no Black people in it. There's a whole lot of white people who have in blackface.
Mm-hmm.
Who run around trying to rape white women. And, I'm just like, y'all crazy. But then that puts the peonage system in place with the re-enslavement of 500,000 Black people that are known as vagrancy laws and sharecropping, which we did not end in the South until 1972. People need to know that.
And pause there, because two things. First of all, the New Deal didn't cover people who worked in the fields, didn't cover domestic workers. So this great middle class that was built with the FDR New Deal excluded us until the 1970s. But the vagrancy laws, if you don't have a job, you're committing a crime, which allows us to enslave you. Oh, here's the chain gang. People on the chain gang for 40, 50 years because they're now free. They've walked off of plantations, and their freedom and the edict to not hire them, sound familiar? The edict to not hire them now puts them in a criminal status. That's so crazy.
But who are they? They're put in a chain gang, but who are they then passed off to? U.S. Steel. They're passed off to corporations who use their labor, rebuild portions of the South, and become global corporations, again, off of Black labor.
Right.
So,
and Dr. Moss, what's even more insidious, because unlike being enslaved, where there is an onus to feed and clothe and at least do a nominal job of housing, the chain gang, the incarceration of Black bodies, there's no such. The brutality there that we don't even really talk about it. We don't ever really talk about the brutality of that period of time on those Black men. Not to mention
and women, and women too.
Well, I was going to say, not to mention the widespread rape of Black women and all.
It was an insidious, evil system. It's a continuation of a system. And so the tech bros, the techno-feudal lords, again, they want to collect our data. All of us have phones, but guess what? You own the hardware. You don't own the software. We click the button to give you permission to take on the data that I have. Phones listen to you, all of that kind of stuff. And so this moment, America has turned over as the Secretary of Data, or Doge, whatever you want to call it, to an Afrikaner, to a South African. But it gets deeper. So you have Elon Musk, Doge, but you also have Peter Thiel, who is the founder of PayPal, who is a South African Afrikaner, who partnered with Elon Musk in reference to PayPal, who finds someone in Ohio by the name of J.D. Vance that he wants to put money under to promote the ideas of another person by the name of Curtis Yarvin. Curtis Yarvin is the individual who believes that we don't need democracy. We need a monarchy and a dictatorship. And he has a program called RAGE, Retire All Government Employees. Elon Musk has taken hold of the idea of RAGE and has now implemented it because the Republican Party, since, again, Reconstruction, has used white fear, or what we call the Southern strategy, to say to working class white people, those who think they're white, let me put it that way, your issues are Black people. Your issues are immigrants. Your issues are gay people. Your issues are women. Meanwhile, a small group of wealthy people have been picking the pockets of every working person in this country. And white folk, for the first time, they messed around and found out. And now they are screaming and hollering, what's going on? Like, all you need to do was talk to Karen Hunter. All you need to do was talk to any Black person.
I was going to say, not just me. We could
have told you this. We saw this coming 100 years ago.
Experience Karen Hunter in a completely different way. Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're going to love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of The Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is Awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.